Hello, welcome to Serenity Vape. On this video, I'm going to talk a bit about Kratom and tell you, some of the effects, why people use it, and maybe give you some guidance as to what strain might work best for you. So, good rule of thumb when you're picking out Kratom, something that I've heard from a Kratom vendor is it's red vein for bed, it's white to excite, and green for in between. And the red is great for people trying to handle their insomnia, their pain. It's more relaxing. And the white is more of a high energy, coffee-like effect, if you will, and it can provide focus for some people. And green is kind of in between. It's not too much energy. It's more balanced. It provides good pain relief. For example, I took it once for my my fibromyalgia pain, and it was remarkably effective. Now, the plant itself comes from Southeast Asia, Thailand, one major source. It comes from Bali, Indonesia, Borneo, and you'll see that on many packages of it. That'll tell you a bit about the behavior of that strain. Some are counterintuitive, but that, red for bed, white to excite, and green for in between, that will help you. It's been used for centuries, especially for day laborers, to combat pain, fatigue, increase their productivity. It's something that's been used in a traditional way, and it's made its way more recently to Europe and the Americas. In the United States, it was almost scheduled as a Class 1 drug by the DEA, but there was a significant amount of pushback from consumers, harm reduction advocates, and the American Kratom Association, and the DEA backed off, which was a really great win for harm reduction, especially while we're in the middle of, or while we were in the middle of a major opioid crisis that we're still dealing with. And that harm reduction potential is part of why we sell it here at Serenity Vape. We've seen way too many people who have struggled with opioid addiction, and it's something that this state, Florida, has seen quite a bit of. So we want to provide people an option where they might have more control. There's less withdrawal effects, and it's significantly safer than other prescription painkillers. Between 2011 and 2017, there were any poison control call, right? Almost every single one of those was because somebody was using Kratom with other substances, like painkillers, other drugs, right? Now, of all those cases, only 2 people between 2011 and 2017 in the United States, only 2 people only used Kratom. So that tells you a lot about the comparative safety of this plant. It's typically taken as a tea or a drink. The powder is mixed with water or some other beverage, honey, sugar, and that cuts the very leafy, bitter taste of it. You can get it as capsules. They have extract shots, and I actually did take some of an extract shot one time. Like I said, it kicked in about 15-20 minutes, maybe less. And the effects lasted me about 3-4 hours, I would say. This was, my pain was virtually gone. And for a while, I did have kind of euphoric but not overwhelming experience where I was able to still focus and get things done. Uh, it was impressive, but for somebody like me who's in recovery, it may not be the best choice. It's not something that I need. For people who are trying to get off of, you know, oxy and other prescription painkillers or worse, this could really be a good choice because as you can weigh it out. You know, you can either get like half-gram capsules or you can weigh it out yourself, and take it that way. So there's real control, and it is habit forming, but less so. And its withdrawal effects after sustained use are less significant and less protracted. They're similar to opiates, but that's because it works much the same way in the body. It binds to the same receptors in your brain, and it processes pretty much the same way through your digestive system. Now, one thing I thought was really neat was I am someone who's allergic to general anesthesia and prescription painkillers. I have, like a rash reaction. I didn't have that at all when I took Kratom. So there's some other differences there that I wasn't, I didn't think about it at the time. I knew that this was a different thing and that it was most likely, but I had a Benadryl on hand just in case. I didn't need it. I stuck to a low dose, but it was powerful because it was an extract. Now, in a low dose, it's more stimulating, elevating, right? Especially with a white kratom. A white vein kratom, people use that daytime. They're trying to stay awake. They're trying to keep working throughout the day, and they may have, pain that they just need to beat back. For example, my uncle is, a home health aide, and he fell and dislocated his shoulder and broke 4 ribs on the same side. What he did was he took about 1.5 grams in the morning and 1.5 grams later in the day. And in a reduced capacity, he was actually able to start working again after a few days. And this worked very well for him. That wasn't the only thing he was taking. He was also using a CBD topical cream. But there were no contraindications. It didn't have it didn't react poorly for him. The low doses, it's still fighting your pain. It provides a more stimulating, it's more of a stimulant, which isn't surprising because it's related to coffee. Now, in the high doses, it is more of a sedative. It still provides pain relief, it's relaxing, but too much can induce euphoria. Now, I don't advocate this as a recreational drug at all. It's not considered a recreational drug in those places that it's used traditionally, but in higher quantities, like with anything that you take too much of, it can work that way. It's something with a lot of potential, especially here in the States, where we're trying to promote harm reduction because we understand that you can't just tell people they shouldn't be taking something and expect them to get off of it. They need help. Now, substitutions can be problematic, but out of the people I've met who have had, just terrible, terrible injuries from things like car accidents, people who come back from war, who have those, who have injuries, to their backs, their muscles. This really does help them. And if you have an injury like that, you are going to be dependent on not being in pain. As options go, Kratom is considered less harmful. So it can work really well in most cases. Some people find it also combats anxiety, depression, but the thing is that the FDA hasn't cleared this as a medication. This is considered a supplement. So you have to use your best discretion here. It's not going to, what's the phrase? This product is not designed to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease, right? And it's not. If you want to do that, you should talk with your doctor. If you can. But you should always do your own research. So, this has been Jonathan from Serenity Vape. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe and vape on.